It's your girl Roxie with Roxiie Says, and we're going to talk about it. All right, today we are reviewing Love is Blind Season 8, Episode 1, and I am so excited to go through this season with y'all. But before we get started, a little bit of housekeeping, all right? This is a review for Episode 1 only. No spoilers. The same way that you were able to watch the show without knowing what was going to happen in the next episode, I would like the same experience, okay? So spoilers will be blocked. Spoilers will be blocked. If you cannot contain yourself because episodes 1 through 6 were just so good, so good, you can feel free to go to Reddit. Okay, there's a whole forum. They're chatting it up over there. You can go to the Love is Blind comment section on Instagram, Twitter. They're chatting it up over there. But for this video's comment section, episode 1 comments only, okay? Thank you so much. So we have some big goals this year, so don't forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that you hit that notification bell because you know we always have a good time during Love is Blind. So let's get into this first episode, okay? So we open up the episode with Nick and Vanessa, and they're saying that this is the biggest season yet, so that means that there are more individuals than ever to choose from. Of course, some of these singles are very excited to find love in the best way ever, and some are very nervous for the experience. We see Nick and Vanessa and they tell them that this experience will prove to them that love truly is blind. Let me tell you something. The way that y'all could come on here after all of these years and all of these fails and still say that line with a straight face, very impressive, and I'm here for it, all right? The pods are now open. So first, we meet Danielle and Taylor, and they start off with that funny banter, okay? Before they even have a conversation, she's like, are you down on your knee? Are you ready to propose to me? It was really cute, all right? So Danielle, he is 29. Why am I calling this man Danielle? Daniel is 29 years old and he is a sales manager, and Taylor is a 31-year-old registered nurse. So Daniel says that he wants a wife to build a family with. Taylor says that she also wants a family. So as we know on Love is Blind, that means that these two are soulmates, okay? Look no further. But before this date, we've already seen Daniel bring his height up more than twice, okay? So I think that it's safe to assume that being 5'8" is something that may be an insecurity of his, or at least an issue that he's had in dating in the past, all right? So Daniel's sister was born blind, so he's seen how she is able to love others without seeing them, and that's the concept of this show. So he says that if he could be more like his sister, that would be his ultimate goal. Now, if he isn't using his sister's story to bag up women, and he genuinely feels like that, this is beautiful. But if that's just a line that you say to every woman you meet, Daniel, shame on you, okay? But they definitely have a great first date, which Taylor is excited about because she is tired of dating, all right? So Taylor is making her rounds. She's dating all the guys so far, and I do love her bubbly energy, all right? So next we meet Brittany, aka Britt or B. Dot, and she is a 34-year-old partnership executive, and she is here to find a man who treats her like his lucky charm. So on her date with Devin, who is a 28-year-old youth director / coach, we learn that she plays and coached Division I college basketball. And he says, ooh, we're going to have to do a little love and basketball thing. And I absolutely love that moment. These two are on the same page, okay? Ain't nobody had to say, oh, what movie is that? What scene you talking about? No, they're here, all right? None of that. The convo is flowing with Britt and Dev. And we learned that Devin also coaches a high school girls basketball team. So Devin asks Brittany her age, which I honestly don't mind in this situation because time is limited, okay? We got to get them questions answered quick and in a hurry. So Britt is 6 years older than Devin, but he does say that he's dated older women before. So they connected on wanting to have a strong family, and they both want to be hands-on parents. Next, we see Devin. He meets Virginia. Virginia is a 33-year-old health recruiter, and he tells her that he's a foodie, he's into fashion, and he's a sneakerhead with over 100 pairs of sneakers. So they learned that they both went to the same high school, but of course, Devin graduated years after her. Virginia sees it as many years, and Devin sees it as not so many years. Devin, you are one of the youngest men in here, so get used to having this conversation over and over about age, all right? So Virginia has a doctorate in healthcare administration, and she loves her new position working in the hospital. She says that she wrote her dissertation on racial bias in healthcare, and she has a desire to impact patient experience. I absolutely love that because that is a real issue and more awareness does need to be brought to it, okay? So Virginia is impressed to know that Devin has his own basketball training company and he also coaches. So of course they bond on that because she loves basketball and she was actually a dancer for the NBA. And Devin says that she can definitely come over and cheer him on any day. I was like, okay, Devin, that was smooth. But they do have a great conversation. And Virginia says that his age doesn't bother her because she has learned that age does not equal maturity. That part, we have learned that too, haven't we? Yes, we sure have. So Virginia tells us that she is excited for this experience and finding love without seeing the person, because at the end of the day, we are just souls in these bodies. These bodies have just been loaned to us, and we're nothing more than a reflection of what's on the inside. Oh, I loved that. I loved it so much. All right, so we see Virginia. She goes on a couple more dates, and one of those dates is with Joey. So Joey is a 34-year-old physician associate, and he says that everyone says he gives golden retriever vibes. Joey has a lot of energy. Joey has a lot of energy, and I thought that he was on 10 until we see him introduce himself to someone who introduces herself as Monica. I was like, okay, girl. Okay, but Monica is a 27-year-old digital marketer, and she is nervous, and she lets Joey know that she is nervous, all right? And he tries to help her relax, which I thought was really cute. One thing I will say, if these two end up together, that household is going to be loud. It's going to be loud as hell, okay? They both hate country music, but they both love swing dancing, and they both love their families. And they both agree that this very first date was absolutely amazing, all right? So next, we're about to see Monica go on a date with a man named Dave. Listen. Dave is a 32-year-old boy, okay? I mean, he is a 32-year-old and he works in medical aesthetics. My bad. And Dave begins every date by asking the women what's wrong with them and why are they single? Why are you single? You're here too. Why are you single, sir? But he says that he was an a-hole to women in the past, and he's here to figure that out, okay? Dave tells us that he's always surrounded by people with Botox, fillers, butt lifts, and that has affected his reality on what a woman should look like. I think honestly that social media has affected all of our minds in that aspect. But since he's used to a particular aesthetic, he feels like this experience will really test if he's as superficial as he thinks he is. It's an immediate no for me. It's an immediate no for me, dog. Okay, these people are looking for love, and you're out here trying to work out your personal issues on others when you could have just went to see the lady. I do not like Dave, if I have not made that clear, okay? On top of that, it's obvious that he's been listening to one too many of those little podcast boys, because he is engaging in heavy negging, which is when someone insults you to diminish your confidence because they believe that you'll be more likely to sleep with them or do other things with and for them if you feel like shit about yourself, okay? They'll give you backhanded compliments and usually try to present it as a joke. For example, oh, I usually prefer girls with bigger boobs, but yours are okay, you know? Or, oh, I normally don't date girls who look like you, but I'll make an exception. Things like that. That type of shit is negging, okay? Be able to recognize it. It's a huge red flag, and it's a sign of that person's own insecurity, okay? So he tells Lauren that she must no longer be attractive after she tells him that she's 32 years old. And she was like, what? Am I gonna have to leave this very first date? Is that what we're doing here? And he laughs and he's like, oh, it was just a joke. Ha ha ha. Girl, you should have walked out. You should have walked out, okay? Anyway, Lauren says that she's here because a partner is the one thing that is missing in her puzzle, okay? And David says that he feels the same way. He has everything else. He's just missing that one puzzle piece to be by his side for the rest of his life. So Lauren tells Dave that she sells social studies curriculum to school districts, and she used to be a teacher, which she really enjoyed, but the pay just wasn't enough. Dave tells Lauren the industry that he works in and also lets her know that because of it, he's been very shallow in the past, which hasn't worked for him, but he doesn't want to be like that anymore. And Lauren leaves that date feeling hopeful. I don't know why, but next we see Dave. He meets Molly. Molly is a 29-year-old executive assistant, and she tells Dave that she's never had a boyfriend. Ever, because she's never really seen the need to have a boyfriend. And although there were guys that she's liked and maybe went on a couple of dates with, nothing ever made it to a full-blown serious relationship. So Dave says that he's dated many women, but no one ever made it home to meet his mother. Dave also says that he had the typical white dude upbringing. He says he was raised Catholic, just like Molly, but his mom passed away 6 years ago after a 10-year battle with stage 4 breast cancer. And he says that she was always hard on him about doing the right thing and having integrity. So he says that he does try to be very intentional with everything he says and does. Really? Is that what you've been displaying? Intentionality with the things that you... Okay, moving on. But they do learn that they both have pictures in their phones of their parents dancing. So, of course, in Love is Blind world, that means they're soulmates. Ding, ding, ding. So after a few dates, we see the men and women, they go back to their respective quarters and they share notes. And I actually love that they're doing it this time, because usually a lot of stuff gets exposed when they share notes. You can weed out who's lying, who's using the same lines on everybody, etc., who likes who, all of that, okay? So next we meet Alex, a 28-year-old real estate broker, and he tells us that growing up, he was very nerdy, he was very unattractive, so he didn't get much attention from women. He said that he asked a girl out in high school once, and her friends laughed at him in front of everybody, so he had to go and he ate lunch in the bathroom stall like Lindsay Lohan and Mean Girls. But now that he's attractive, okay, he says that he still wants to make sure that he finds someone who loves him for what's on the inside. So we see him meet Madison. Madison is a 28-year-old artist. She says that she's never wanted that cookie cutter, marry your high school sweetheart life. She studied in Paris, and then she moved with a couple to the Middle East, and she learned Arabic, and she was teaching students English. So she has a very much of a carefree, go where the wind blows you type of personality, okay? Doesn't seem like she really takes root anywhere. That could be a good thing. That can be a bad thing, all right? But they both do love to travel, and Madison says that it's important that people feel safe with her, which comes from her having a very rough childhood, okay? She says that her parents had her when they were only 19 years old. Her mom dealt with drug addiction and was in rehab when she had her. She wasn't planned, but she then met her stepdad, who ended up passing away when she was only 8 years old, and he passed from a drug overdose. Her relationship with her mom is definitely strained because she says that she's had to parent her mother her entire life. So she does want to break that cycle, and she does want to break those generational curses, but she still has compassion for her mom, and she realizes that her mom did the best she could with what she had at the time. But she's still very close with her siblings, and it's a very vulnerable conversation, and Alex empathizes with her, and he also tells her about his upbringing. Although his issues weren't as severe with his family, he did deal with bullying, being pushed around, kids knocking his food on the floor at lunch, all of that, okay? And he said that he also has really bad ADHD. So he failed high school, and his family is big on education, and they were really disappointed in him. So they kicked him out, and he had to figure out life on his own. So because of such rejection, he can now feel when someone else doesn't feel included. And if there's anything that he can do about it to make them feel better, he will, all right? Madison says that she was also bullied in school, and that's why she gravitated towards art and academics. And after school, she had her glow up, baby, all right? Period. So Alex says that he recognizes that most people who were treated the way that they were treated would usually gloat after their glow up, but he does say that because of what he experienced, he chooses to lead with kindness. Now, I need people to stop talking about their glow ups. I need people to stop talking about what they used to look like and now they look way better. Don't put any image or any visual in anyone's mind, because your idea of a glow up might not be someone else's idea of a glow up, okay? So y'all haven't learned yet. Keep looks out of it, please. Please. Why y'all keep doing this every season? Don't tell no one you glowed up, okay? Don't tell anyone you glowed up. But Madison pretty much says, nah, I'll be the mean one for you, okay? Madison says she wanted back in blood. Madison wants her revenge, okay? So this is a cute little first date, and they do tell each other that they are each other's number one, okay? So next we see Madison. She meets Mason, who is a 32-year-old cinematographer, and they bond over their creative careers. We also learn that Mason is a skater boy. She said, see you later, boy. He wasn't good enough for her. Sorry, I had to do it. I had to do it, okay? If you know, you know. But is Madison gonna break Alex's heart for Mason? Don't tell me. Don't tell me. I said no spoilers. You're right. Don't tell me, okay? But skating is what got him into cinematography, he says, and he studied it in school, and he's been doing it professionally for 8 years. And he loves being able to make commercials and documentaries all over the world. Mason is very close to his nieces, and Madison tells him that she's really close to her younger brother and sister. She lets him know that one of her brothers unfortunately passed away in a car accident, and he was named after Brett Favre, and they have this Favre jersey that has been passed down in the family, and now Madison has it, and she was able to wear it at a Packers game in his honor since he was never able to do that, all right? It's a really touching and sweet story, and they bond over obstacles, making them stronger. But Madison is is a bit tired of always having to be strong. And because her family isn't the best, she's looking for someone who values family. And they both thank each other for being a safe space. And Madison lets him know that she hopes that the rest of his dates absolutely suck. This couple is really cute. All right. Next, we see Mason. He goes on a date with Meg. Meg is a lot too. These Meg, Monica, these M names, a lot, okay? Meg is the 32-year-old, remember her, who says that she misses her exit on the way to work every single day. Yeah, we remember Meg from the cast reveal video, okay? She came in there and she was like, Mason, I'm so happy to be talking to you again. Meg. Okay, we get it. She's like, my dress is orange, like the wall, and so is my skin, because I just got a spray tan. We were in the lounge yesterday, and we were playing I Spy. I'm like, take a breath, girl. Take a breath. But she does say that they had their more basic conversation yesterday, so now she wants to know if they'll be able to laugh together. And Mason wants that too, because he says that he just wants someone that he can be done with, okay? We all want that. Someone we can be ourselves with and be a complete clown with, okay? They also connect over their extraterrestrial curiosities, and they both hope that if aliens do come down and meet us, that at least they're nice. I hope so too, okay? They're both into ghosts. Neither of them are religious, and Meg says that her parents are Christian, and they're so sad for her because they believe that she's going to hell, and she's really sad about that because she loves her parents with all of her heart. I do have to say that this conversation made me a bit anxious. Meg is like on 5x speed, okay? She just kept going. I'm like, girl, do you want him to answer a question? No? Okay, but the two of them do seem to really enjoy the date very much, and they seem to really like each other, all right? So now we're back with Dave and Molly, and we can see that they're getting closer, and Dave says that he can recognize her voice out of everyone else's voice. Out of all of the other girls, he knows when he's speaking to Miss Molly, okay? So Dave asks Molly how important sex is to her, and she says it's very important because if you like someone, you should want to make them happy. So Molly says that she asks a lot of questions because she wants to make sure that she does a good job every single time. So they talk about their different kissing vibes, and Dave apologizes because he says that he feels like he's asking her way too many questions. But Molly's like, oh, don't worry. I like it when a man takes charge. Of course, Dave loves this. But Molly clarifies, and she's like, well, I like to follow in the beginning, and then once I'm more comfortable, then I like to take charge. And Dave said that he likes that. So he brings the topic back to sex, and he asks if there's anything that she would consider to be weird. Molly says no. Nothing is weird to her. Her and her bangs are down for anything, okay? So these two are feeling each other, and they're smiling and they're blushing, all the things. So now Dave is on another date with Lauren, and they speak about their families. And Dave says that his sister was not happy about him doing this experience because she feels like none of the girls would ever be good enough for him. And I'm like, ugh, you got one of those sisters? Yikes, okay? But he does say that at the end of the day, it's his life, so whatever happens, happens. If it's a mess up, whatever, it's his life, okay? He's the one who's gonna have to deal with it. And this conversation is pretty lighthearted, and I do feel that at this point, Dave and Molly have a bit more chemistry than Dave and Lauren, okay? So now we're back with Taylor and Daniel, and he tells her that he journaled about her last night, and I said, oh my God, how sweet is that? And she says that his name might be in her journal as well. And he also tells her that she was all he could think about when he was on some of his other dates. And that's really big for him, all right? Especially because he feels like she embodies everything that he wants in a wife. So Taylor tells Daniel that the story that he told her about his sister really touched her, and it's been on her mind ever since. And his presence is extremely comforting. She says that she loves how he speaks to her. And he says, I'm really here for you, instead of saying, yeah, true that. And I feel her on that, because who wants to be sharing something vulnerable with someone only for their response to be something like word 100? Like, what the does that even mean? Use your words, okay? So anyway, Daniel tells her that he makes a Christmas card every single year, and each year he makes it more extravagant. But his ultimate dream is to one day have a Christmas card with the wife on it, and eventually with his wife and his kids, and he wants to keep the tradition going. And Taylor loves that idea because Christmas is her favorite holiday, and she says that she puts up 4 trees in her 1-bedroom apartment every single year, okay? They're really feeling each other, but Taylor does let him know that she's a big overthinker, and Daniel reassures reassures her by telling her that she can ask him whatever she needs to ask him because he intends to find his person here. So he's going to make sure that she has full clarity and that she feels secure. And Taylor says that she wants to make Daniel feel secure as well. Okay, so we are back with Devin and Britt, and they're talking about having a cook-off with their macaroni and cheese and their greens. I'm loving the conversation. And then we see him on his fun little disco date with Virginia. So I think it's safe to say that Virginia and Britt are his top two, okay? And I haven't really seen those two ladies on dates with anyone else, so he might be both of their number ones for now, okay? Which might get messy because they seem to be really cool with each other in the women's quarters, all right? So next we see Monica, and she's on a date with Joey, and he tells her that he grew up homeschooled in a house full of sisters. So when he first went to public school, he was teased a lot because he knew nothing, and it was a bit awkward for him, and he said that he dressed differently. But when he joined the football team, that's what allowed him to prove to his peers that he was cool and they all wanted him to be on their team. He said that he got a lot of offers from D1 schools when he turned 18, but he turned those offers down so that he could go to school locally and not be far away from his sister who has cerebral palsy, who has now passed on, okay? And he says that he really didn't want to be far since his parents were divorced. He wanted to be there to help his mom out, which I think is so selfless of him, all right? He then tells Monica that once she meets his mom, this is all going to make sense. And I said, okay, Joey, I see you talking about when you meet my mom. I see what you did there, okay? So he says that although his mom is horrible with money, he's very good with it. He said he only had $200 to his name when he graduated college, and he taught himself how to invest, he taught himself how to trade, and he bought his own property at the age of 27 in preparation for when his mother could no longer have a place to live. And he has a separate retirement account just for his mama. I said, Joey, you're doing good, Joey. Keep it up, Joey. You're doing a good job, okay? So next we see Dave and Lauren. They're on a date, and David is a bit surprised when he finds out about Lauren's party girl energy once she tells him that her and her friends got matching tattoos when they went on a little girls trip to Mexico. And she says, you know, people always assume that I'm just nice. I'm just this nice little Midwestern girl. Oh, but there's more to me. I got some bite, okay? And I'm not a pushover. I feel like that's going to come up later. I feel like they told us that for a reason, all right? So the matching tattoos that she got with her friend says the patriarchy, and two of Dave's tattoos are of his mother's handwriting, and then the other one is on the thigh and it's of his family's home address. And he tells Lauren that his mom passed away and he regretted not saying goodbye to his childhood home before his dad sold it, but it was hard for him to go back to that home because that's where he has the most memories of his mother. Remember, he told Molly that his mom lived with stage 4 cancer for 10 years, but Lauren tells him that everyone handles grief differently, so don't be too hard on himself. Dave tells her that she was never low on his list, but after this conversation, she just shot all the way up, all right? And she tells him that he was always high on her list, but this date just solidified it for her. So Dave says that he's going to try to spend as much time with her as he can, and things are starting to get real and weird for them, he says. And he didn't think that he would be feeling like this about anyone so soon. And then he says if they get married, he wants matching tattoos with her, okay? And he doesn't want to leave the date, and he's like, he wishes that he could cancel his next date. But Dave, you were just in the men's quarters and you were saying that, oh, you have a great time on these dates, and then by the end of the night, you forget everything, okay? So we'll see, because right after this date with Lauren, he goes on a date with Molly, and he's asking her about her tattoos, and he's very intrigued by the tattoo on her booty, okay? And then he tells her that he really likes her. From the very beginning, it was always Molly, Molly, Molly. Molly's my girl, okay? Now listen. I'm not mad yet. I'm not mad yet. When people do these experiences, you are going to be, attracted to more than one person. You're going to connect with more than one person. That's fine. The issues come up when people don't know how to go about it, and they go about it in a trash way. And if you're watching my Married at First Sight reviews, you know that there is an all-out war in the comment section right now about how to handle being attracted to someone else, okay? Ciao. So now we are with the women, and we're in the women's quarters. We're with Molly and Madison, okay? And we see Molly tell Madison that she's talking to Dave, all right? And she's trying to keep it cool because she knows that he's talking to other people. But Madison says she hasn't really heard anyone else saying that they're talking to him. And Molly's like, oh yeah, because she's been trying to keep it on the low, but I know who it is. And she's like, well, who is it? Who is it? And Molly says, it's Sarah. Who is Sarah? Sarah is a 28-year-old oncology nurse. We'll meet her later, I'm sure. So Lauren, who's also talking to Dave, she sits down with the ladies and she tells them that her date was good and it was really validating, but at the same time, she feels iffy. And it didn't feel good when her date said that he had other dates to go on. So Madison asks Lauren if she feels comfortable talking about who her top people are and who she was on this date with. But Lauren says that she'd rather not at this time because she's a bit nervous about giving that information too soon, okay? But Molly says that she doesn't care because at this point, everyone knows who her person is, okay? So Lauren is like, well, who's your person? I don't know. You said everyone know. I don't know. And Molly is like, Dave, that's my husband, okay? She was like, that's my husband. And Lauren plays it cool and she's like, oh, okay. I don't know what it is, but something about this scene made my skin crawl. Yes, it did. And I don't know, but I feel like Molly and Madison, they didn't do anything just yet, but I don't know. For some reason, they're giving me Micah and Irina vibes in this scene, okay? So I'm going to keep my eye on them for a little bit. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I think that something's going to go down with at least 3 of these 4 women, okay? Let me know all your thoughts about episode 1 below. I am working on getting all of the other episodes out for you. No spoilers in the comments. Make sure that you hit like, comment, and subscribe before you leave. Make sure you hit the notification bell so that you're made aware when I upload, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye!
Roxiie says we're gonna